Hello everyone, welcome back to Pixel Village and I am Radha Krishnan. Well, we're going to be talking about another gimbal. But this is not just another gimbal. This is the FeiyuTech SCORP-2. Well, we've been playing with this for quite some time, couple of weeks. I know this video is a little bit late in Pixel Village, but the reason why we delayed it because we wanted to use it and show you the actual use cases. So, spoiler alert, this video is going to be a little long. So stay with us if you want to know about what's inside the box, what are the functionalities, build quality, actual use cases, and of course, 2 bits of what I think about this gimbal. Now, inside the box, there is some documentation. Then you have the gimbal here, very nice compact gimbal. Then you have a mini tripod. Then you have a few cables. Now, this one is the power cable. Well, you have a lens support. I'll show you how this is used. Then you have the lens mounting plate. You have the vertical arm. Then you have the quick release plate and a razor plate. Well, I'm going to show you how each one is used and how useful each one is. And of course, a set of 7 cables for different purposes and different connectivities. Now that I have taken out everything from the box, let me keep it away. And yeah, these are the cables. Let me organize it once again. This is the gimbal. Let me also add the small table tripod. The name Scorp obviously comes from its shape, like a scorpion's. This resembles that, so the name comes from there. The overall build is superb. Well, let me tell you a bit about myself. I am not really a gimbal expert in terms of operation, but I've reviewed a few gimbals, talked in detail about gimbals in the internet. This is one of the largest watched gimbal videos in the internet. I always get excited about gimbals. At the same time, I also get scared about the gimbal. I always envy those guys who handle gimbals effortlessly. You know, I mean, they're magicians. Every time I've picked up one, well, I've failed miserably because I'm trained as a commercial photographer and also a cinematographer, but I would like to use my cameras on a tripod, on a slider of sorts, but never on a gimbal. But I definitely like and enjoy the smooth, buttery movements when you use a gimbal properly. But during our field test, I used it personally, and well, an idiot like me could use it very, very comfortably and effectively. The reason is that first thing, it's nice and compact. It's not overwhelming in terms of its build and size. The underslung mode is very easy. It's compact and it's well built. So in that department, I like to give full marks to this, FeiyuTech SCORP-2. All right, so we were at build quality. Very well built. I have no anxieties about the soft parts, where you hold the grip and the life of this part. I have no doubts about. What is interesting about this particular design is that because of its low center of gravity, you can very comfortably, without the risk of toppling the camera or the whole device, you can actually change the lens. That's definitely something which I immediately noticed. Now, coming to the functions that is available, the SCORP-2 has a touch screen here. All the functionalities can be accessed through the touch screen. The joystick, shutter button, and the mode button at the rear, exactly where it is supposed to be. Now, on this side, of course, you have the on-off button. You have the function button here and the A-B button. Now, this A-B button is very interesting. I'll show you what this is about. And on the other side, of course, you have an FPV button. You want to quickly get on with your FPV mode. This is the FPV button, and of course you have a multi-function wheel, and this adds functionality to the wheel. You can actually cycle through different functions using this wheel. Functions like pan, tilt, roll, or focusing through appropriate connecting cable between the gimbal and the camera by pressing this assign button. And with a compatible camera and an appropriate cable connection, you can also assign a focusing function to this knob. You can also do the same from the touch panel here. Okay. One of the standout feature of this gimbal is its battery power. You can charge it, of course, using mains. You can charge. Well, if you look at this roll arm, you will see 4 USB ports here. Now, through this USB ports, you can, using appropriate cables which are given here, you can draw power or use that port to interact between the device and the gimbal. You also have all the standard suspects. You have the arm locks. You have the trigger here, which is double click to recenter the gimbal, triple click to turn it into selfie mode, and by double pressing the power button, you can actually put the gimbal to sleep to save power, of course. This is where the camera gets mounted using a quick release plate and, of course, a spacer. Well, before that, you need to look for an arrowhead. Okay, there are 2 types of arrowheads. One is a white filled, full white arrowhead, and there is another one with white outline. Well, when you connect all these arms, all you have to do is to just follow and match the arrow mark. Now, let me look at this. This goes here, so all I have to do is to slide it in, bring it in, and of course you have a nice positive lock here. Now, your gimbal actually is now ready to have the camera mounted on it. Well, this is your plate here. The plate, again, match the arrow here. So there is an arrow. I'm going to slide this guy in. Okay, once it is slide in, it's locked in there. Then you have the quick release. Of course, this will go with the camera. Again, remember to match the arrow mark. Everywhere there is also a protective lock. Okay, and if your camera is using a lens which is like bigger than the camera body, then the chances are that sometimes the lens barrel will start touching the quick release plate, thereby obstructing operation. Well, you can use a razor plate, thereby you lift the camera up from the base. Now you can use a much wider lens. I hope it's not necessary to demonstrate a balancing procedure, right? But let me tell you that balancing using this SCORP-2 is very, very simple. Many reasons. Prime reason is low center of gravity. Second, it's, I don't know, I mean, the payload is 2.5 kilos, and it is for a mid-range, hybrid camera and lenses. It's very easy to balance. Now, you can also use the smart app, the FeiyuTech SCORP app, the mobile app which interacts with the device using Bluetooth is a miracle of sorts. Reason is that, I mean, it's painful when you work with Bluetooth, apps, because usually that link breaks and you have to restart, reset. But in this case, I found the Bluetooth, the connectivity rock solid. In that, you can use a smart guide which will help you, and it'll actually guide you through visuals. It will tell you how to balance that camera. Now, once the camera is balanced, well, look at these markers here, okay? A marker, a red marker on the tilt arm, and there is another one here on the pan arm. All you have to do is to slide and make sure that the red show through that hole. You finish the shoot, you fold everything, pack it. Well, during packing, of course, you're going to remove the camera, right? Well, you need to remember not to move this red spots from its position. As long as you are working with that camera and lens combination, all you have to do when you have to rebalance is to bring the arms and match that red dots. That's all that you have to do. One set of balancing that you have to do is the camera balancing itself, but there are markers here as well. So just remember the scale and the position, and you will be back again in action in like no time. You don't have to spend time rebalancing, which I thought was a very, very clever move. It was almost like a no-brainer. I don't know why many brands are not thinking about something like this. Well, let me mount a camera on it and come back. Okay, so we are back after balancing the A7 Mark III, one of the most popular camera ever from Sony. And I have mounted it with the 18-105 f4, the digital lens. The reason why I use that lens is that it's internally zooming. So there is no extending barrel which will affect the balance again. So that's why I used it. In FeiyuTech's website, you can go to SCORP-2 and check about all compatible cameras listed there. Not all functions are available for all cameras. I told you that there are lots of cables. There are about 7 cables that come along in the box of SCORP-2, and I have used 2 of them here. A USB-C to USB-C to power the camera. Of course, you must have a battery too inside, and the USB-C to multi. Now it is marked on the end of each terminal, whether it is USB-C or multi, and certain functions of this camera will be now available in this control here. The control that is available to me in SCORP-2 with regard to the A7 Mark III is taking a still image and a video. These are the 2 controls that I can have. I can also digitally zoom, meaning if I activate the digital zoom, but it'll affect the quality of the video. So I will not ever recommend it to anybody. Camera is anyway controlled and it's nicely balanced. Yeah. And I can cycle through, like I said, the different modes here. Now FPV, if I do FPV, of course, I can do all possible controls. Now, if you use a camera like the A7S III, well, you will get a little more control using this setup. You will get to control the shutter, ISO, and the f-stop from the dial. Now, in this case, though I can see the menus here, I will not be able to control because the A7 Mark III will not allow me to do that. The way to access the touch panel is swipe right, swipe left, or move up and down. Now, when you swipe right, of course, you will get the camera access, just limited by the camera model and the kind of connectivity that you have chosen. And in the main menu, I get the motor power. SCORP encourages you to auto-tune every time you switch on the camera and start using it. For example, here in this menu, I go to auto-tune. What it basically does is it checks the weight of the camera, the balance, the effective balance that you've created, and it takes care of the tilt, roll, and the pan, and optimizes the power usage. So what will help you is to preserve battery. Use just the right amount of power that is required to operate this particular camera lens combination. Once it is done, it says calibration complete. Click OK, and then you are ready to use. Below is all your controls, your different types of control. Well, you know that the gimbal can be used in two different ways, in a follow mode, right? The motion follow mode, and also using the joystick. This one is the pan tilt follow. This one is pan follow, all lock, FPV, and the FFW. You can also control the speed of each motion and to suit your activity. Now, the scenario button gives you option to do time lapse when you have the camera control, rotation, panorama, portrait mode. So let me click on portrait mode. The camera automatically changes to portrait mode and the camera is now in portrait mode. You know, it's very simple. Well, it also will allow you to do the portrait mode physically as well. Basically, you remove the tilt arm and insert the camera sliding plate straight in vertical position, that is in portrait mode, and you have a little lighter and more stable portrait mode operation. So that's also very interesting. Panorama, of course, panorama is when you want to take multiple shots. So you can go to panorama, you can decide how many images that you want to put together. So after locking into that particular position, say for example, if I keep a 6:1, 180, so let me start shooting. It just goes to its position, it picks that and it keeps taking images on its own because USB is connected, so it'll keep taking that many photographs. Well, all you have to do is to put it together. Let me cancel it, confirm and return. What it does is it'll give you a perfectly aligned multiple shots, pull it to your Photoshop and stitch it together to create a panorama. There are many options. You can actually create a gigapixel image using, you can actually stitch a whole horizon together by, using this panorama method. The selfie mode, of course, turns around, faces you in selfie mode. You can also achieve the same effect by triple clicking the reset button. Yeah, so you have selfie mode, triple click again, and it goes back to your regular shooting mode. Double click resets the camera. Before I go any further, let me also tell you that the SCORP app, the mobile app, I briefly mentioned it in the beginning, is amazingly stable. Everything that you can do through the touch panel or physical operation also can be performed through the mobile app. The mobile app interface is one of the most, easy to use, intuitive, interface that I have seen in any mobile. Not to mention the kind of solid connection that it establishes through Bluetooth with the device. From the main menu, if I swipe up, I'll get control of this wheel here. Now, currently it is on pan. I change it into tilt, so it gives you tilt, and roll, it gives you roll. Well, the same thing can be achieved by cycling through using this button. So now this is in tilt mode now. Yeah. I press again, it moves to pan mode. I press again, it goes to the roll mode. You can also fine-tune the way this guy feels, this wheel feels, by going further into the fine-tuning, by controlling the dampness, the sensitivity, and the smoothness. All three can be controlled here in the touch panel. In the olden days, I had to actually memorize a lot of combination movements. That was the biggest deterrent as far as I am concerned for using a gimbal. Here, everything is in this menu in simple English. All you have to do is to just follow that and you will be able to use that function. I also want to particularly mention about the AB switch here. Now, AB switch is nothing but a control that the gimbal gives you to switch from one camera angle to to the second camera angle without, moving left or right from that set point. Now, if you are the presenter and you are the operator too, then in that case, of course, you can use the remote app to activate it. And you can actually add more than 2 points in it. So that is possible only through your mobile app, and it's very, very useful. Now let's talk about the most important feature of this gimbal. At this price point, I don't know if there are any other gimbals which will give you that kind of feature. It's the AI feature. To activate that, you have to right swipe, go to the bottom, more, and activate the AI power. The moment you activate the AI power, this this light will start lighting up. It'll give you a red signal, and I'm going to. It's very simple. Okay. All I have to do is to look at the camera, and this means track me. So if I move, it'll start tracking me. While I'm being tracked, if I say this, it'll keep that frame and always frame me in that proportion itself. It'll not allow me to move from that place in the frame. I do this, and it gets switched off, and I need to retain a certain distance. That's it. Okay, let me reset. I think this will be an extremely useful video. You've seen it before, but like I said, they've kind of perfected that in this gimbal. Let me also show you the gyro controls that is available in the app, okay? And see the kind of control that it gives me. Make sure that you are moving carefully, yeah? And of course, you also get controls here, how fast you want or how slow that you want the, gimbal to move. Now, in the beginning, I think I mentioned about the SCORP's form factor and its low center of gravity, and because of which how easy it is to mount a camera, balance it, and also change a lens. It is further enhanced by, these two legs, and they call it the SCORP mode. So what you have to do is to remove the small tripod, and see how it stays very kind of low. This also reduces a little bit of weight. It's easier to handle, especially the underslung position, and it's really stable. Now compare it to a regular tall gimbal, and the camera sitting on the 10th floor compared to this guy here on the ground floor. Now, in the beginning, I told you about the fact that the SCORP-2 has a powerful battery. Here in this case, we are powering the camera from this battery. You can also probably power a small LED or an external monitor or a mic, a recording device, etc. from this battery, and also simultaneously charge it while it's being used too, using an external power bank using the USB-C connection. But in order to attach an accessory on this gimbal, they've given you a thread mount here, and using that rosette accessory, you can mount, like I said, a mic, a light, an external monitor, etc. on this gimbal. So that really makes this gimbal extremely versatile. Like I said, easy to use, with the ability to control in 3 different ways. That is using all the physical buttons, or using the touch panel, or using the mobile app. You can get full control of this gimbal, and I think that makes this gimbal an extremely desirable one at that price point. Well, now the one which is available with the touch panel is called the SCORP SCORP-2, and the one without it is called the SCORP-C. Now the SCORP-C, of course, has all physical buttons instead of it, and it also do not have the AI function. If you are on a budget but still want most of these features, well, the SCORP-C will do everything because the payload is the same and you can do almost all activities if you are fine with not having a touch panel. But all controls are available using the mobile app. But if you like this, I would prefer something like this because this makes the touch panel really makes the life a whole lot easier. So I'll put that extra money and buy this one. I am a reluctant, gimbal user, but for this B-rolls, I went and shot and I had fun, I must say. And I got such stable shots. I can probably call myself a gimbal operator now. Hope you like this video. If you have, please let us know. And if you want any more demonstration or if you want to see things in detail, please let us know. I'll add a link to the price and the purchase places all in the description. I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye for now.